Well, we only have
So-
about 10 minutes, so what I'd like to do, do you have another, I don't want to cut you off.
No, but I think, thank you for holding this, and I know my other colleagues as well from the legislative branch, many of them are here today, welcome this dialogue and how we change the system going to the future.
Well, thank you so much, and appreciate it. Before I get to you guys, I'm going to try to get one more round with you, but I'd like to see if there's any questions. And then what you can do is you can answer whatever you want when people ask you. Okay, so are there any questions, particularly reporters? I see Judy. Okay, Judy, if you can use a mic, because we need you on mic for our video guy. Where is the mic? Oh, it's right here. Ah, look at this. I have no idea. How does one turn it on? Here, I'll have Richard help. The first moderator helps the second.
Hello?
Okay,
Yeah,
introduce yourself, Judy.
Yes, Judy Miller with the American Society of Pension Professionals and Actuaries. I did do actuarial work for small DB plans years ago, but I don't know if it's so much, I guess there's a response that would be due, but I think that it's a real illusion that a multiple employer DB plan would be more cost effective, because unless there is a change to the current rules, which I think might benefit everybody, but under the current rules, you're going to have to, number one, be getting all the appropriate data for these individual employers. You're going to have to be determining their funding requirements on an individual basis. And what's going to happen is you're saying that it's going to be, if the formula in a cash balance plan is a 5% contribution credit, the employer won't be putting in a 5% contribution every year unless, the interest credits and the actual fund earnings match up. So you're going to be telling all these little employers that this isn't really your contribution. That's going to be your contribution.
Judy,
Now,
can we, because
Yes.
this is getting kind of technical, so can you address this with them afterwards? And
well, I think there's a basic premise here that I just wanted to kind of shoot down. To be honest, it isn't going to be a tremendous amount of cost savings, and I'd just like to put that out there.
okay, well, thank you, Judy. I think I forgot to mention the ground rule that we're trying to start with positive before we get to that. I'm only kidding. It's okay. I'm only kidding. Anybody else? Any questions in the audience? Okay, then, if there's no more questions, then I will go back to Hank and Pamela. Actually, it would be great if you could respond to Judy, right? Because
Yep.
Judy's basically saying that it's not going to be more sort of cost effective.
Yep.
And then you also had a couple of other questions that you wanted. So why don't you let
So, yes, Judy, we do envision changing some of the ERISA and tax rules for Secure Choice to actually come into being. We would need federal enabling legislation, which would be modification of existing ERISA and the tax code, and then we would need enabling legislation in the individual states or group of states. In response to Don's point about 50 employer small businesses, how we define small businesses, we define them again as businesses that employ 50 employees or less. And there's actually nothing magical about that. We were just trying to make a fine delineation for the public on what is a small business versus sort of a medium-sized business. And there was sort of an agreement that 50 was somewhat right, 100 was a little murky. But the point being is, while this is geared, while our modeling and stress testing was based on employers of 50 or less, there's nothing magical about that, and this could be expanded to other employers. In terms of John's question about withdrawal liability, because we do guarantee a minimum benefit level, there is that risk. We think because of the conservative nature of the way we've structured this, that we've wrung out as much risk as possible, and the likelihood is minimal, but there is that possibility. And to the extent that there is, we do leave it up to the states to decide how they want to address that. And in the state enabling legislation, they have a full spectrum of how to deal with withdrawal liability. The spectrum extremes being, completely a private sector solution, which may include reinsurance by big, insurance companies, all the way to the states themselves backing up the guarantee, or any shade in between. So that's the way we deal with it. And just Greg's point about small businesses, like I said, we did do polling of 500 small business owners throughout in the United States, and what they've told us is they want a new option. You know, the current 401k, they realize is, you know, still administratively burdensome, and you know, they realize it doesn't have the coverage that they want for their employees. They would like to see a new option, and you know, we're just trying to put that out there.
And just to talk about the regulation of this, we had back in our defined benefit hearing in July, we had a company that supplied to us a 6-page list of all the disclosure and reporting requirements that they must make under health and retirement laws to their employees. And it is a very regulated system, and perhaps maybe we've gone too much in that. We need a simplification of the system. I mean, small business, they want a turnkey operation.
Yeah.
They really do just want that simplification.
Okay, I have Judy and then Mark, and we need a mic. Is this the one that's on? We keep doing this. We need somebody who can, okay, sorry about that. Nancy, why don't you hold them, get them to do the mic.
I just had an observation sparked by Judy Miller's comment. And she's absolutely right that getting the census data and the information about employees is one of the big problems, just, you know, and complications for employers. But that may be solved if the Affordable Care Act goes into effect, because employers are going to have to do a lot of cataloging and identifying of their employees anyway.
Okay, and Mark? And then I'm going to give everybody 1 second to respond, including, give Phyllis the last.
I heard two people walk up to a bar, an issue, not a bar, both Hank and Phyllis. To what extent do any of these proposals, including Pam's, depend on some form of mandate for people to participate in any kind of a pension or retirement plan, and particularly with regard to Hank's proposal, you sort of intimated that corporations do business in a state, and therefore the state has control. To what extent does your proposal require a company doing business in the state to have some kind of a plan in place?
Okay, so let me start off with the last one. Maybe I misspoke. All I was saying in terms of the nexus between corporations and states is that there is more of a nexus between states than the federal government. We weren't really thinking that there would be sort of a contract clause that, you know, state service providers would have to provide this. There is absolutely no mandate in this proposal that it would be, you know, strictly a voluntary proposal. And I forgot the first part, or
Well, we have 1 minute, so
Okay.
what's the first part? Did we get it?
No,
Okay,
none
so,
of these proposals.
yeah, they're not.
Certainly, as I read these proposals, they wouldn't have.
Okay, we are exactly at 12 o'clock, and so now it is time for lunch. And we have box lunches that people can get. We're breaking for 30 minutes, right, Richard? So we're breaking for 30 minutes, but please don't leave. Come on back. We have a great panel on annuities, the third panel, so come on back.
I think there's some very intriguing.